Good morning, everybody, and a huge welcome. My name is Alan Goldsbrough, and it's my very great pleasure to take you through the importance of tracking your success. So as you grow and develop your forever business and you start to help others do the same, and how you can achieve your goals and your dreams. Just before I do, I'd just like to tell you, it's not moving on. Hold on a second, guys. There we go. Yeah, just before I go into the activity tracking, just like to tell you a bit about myself. My background is in the textile industry. I had a 30-year career in the textile industry. Absolutely loved what I was doing. I started as a junior designer for menswear in woolen and worsted weaving. And within 4 years, I worked my way up to a senior designer. But also I was very fortunate in the textile industry because lots of changes came in, new fibers were created, new machinery. And I also got involved in circular knitting as well. And that meant, as well as menswear, we could also have ladies' wear, children's wear products, and comfortable products, products that you could, special fibers that are being produced, and you could wash and look after the clothes yourself. Amazing times. But probably one of the most exciting things for me in my textile career was when elastomeric stretch fabrics and fibers came into line. And we could introduce those into wonderful fabrics. And I entered into the sportswear industry, the swimwear industry, and best of all, the ladies' lingerie divisions, selling to people and top brands all over the world, running trade fairs all over the world. I had a fantastic team of designers behind me and salespeople, and people who were there in the office really sorting things out, making sure things were happening. A terrific time. Which is why when my wife Chris, 22 years ago, decided, and Chris also was a design, sales and marketing director, as was I. For 15 years I was one. And Chris just decided she wanted more time-life balance. We had 2 daughters, we had parents that were needing a little bit of help, and she started to look for another opportunity. I couldn't understand how she could do anything else as well as what she was currently doing, a 60-hour-a-week job, looking after the kids, while I was away and traveling the world a lot of the time. But Chris found 6 to 10 hours to create a forever business. She actually went along to a product launch and came back and said she'd found something that was going to change our lives. And the truth was, I didn't want my life changing. I loved what I was doing, but I could see she wanted that work-life balance. 6 months later, she handed a notice in, and she really took hold of the forever possibilities. My 2 daughters and I, we supported her. We certainly used the products. We had a bit of persuasion to start with because we had our brands. But yeah, we really started to see the kind of benefits those products gave. But I still didn't see it as an opportunity for me. But if we can roll forward another 18 months, I guess I maybe got on a plane once too many. And I started to realize that Chris did have a life. She had time for the job, time for the girls, time for everything that we were wanting. And I was just on a propeller all of the time. I actually looked at my diary, and this was in November 1999. And all through December and all through into March, my diary was solid. No life, just work. And it made me realize that maybe if Chris could do it, so could I. And I happened to mention it to her over Christmas, and I thought she'd say, "You're joking, aren't you?" But you know what? She said, "It's about time." You see, I'd also looked at our accounts and I'd seen the kind of money that she was earning, and I thought, wow, what if we can double it? I got involved with a business. I have to be honest, guys, it's one of the scariest things I ever did, but it is one of the best things I ever did. You know, as I look back now and see where the textile industry is, it doesn't exist in this country. It's in the Far East and it's offshore. So I would never have been at home at all. And I love what I'm doing. Together, we've achieved Sapphire Manager. We're working to Diamond Sapphire, Forever to Drive. As you can see, all the things that this business has to offer, incredible things. The chairman's bonus, for instance, we've received that, a one-off payment for the work we do and our team. Between our team, we've had over 1.5 million pounds. How incredible is that to share for us and for the team? Quite amusingly, the global rally and the travel that is provided as you work your way through this business, it is incredible. We've been to places that weren't on our bucket list, but do you know what? We went and we discovered so much. It's been a phenomenal trip. And my very great pleasure to take you through the activity tracking cycle. I'll just have a quick drink. Just water, guys. So we have a very, very simple system. This business operates in 160 countries. It's absolutely imperative we have a duplicatable, simple system so that everybody can follow it. And what you actually do is you put your own tricks to it. You put your own personality into it. And that's how it differs throughout the years. It starts with who do you know? We talk to people we know. They know us, they understand that if we're involved in something, they may be interested. But we also talk to people we don't know. Simply, we contact them. We're going to go into more detail about that. Show them a brief bit of information. Take them through more information. And if they're interested, we then take action. Now, some say yes and some say no. So we put them in the top, take them round, and those people come out of the bottom. Some say yes, some say no, some say not now. If it's yes, we go ahead and we do even more action. We get together. Imperative thing here is we find out what their goals are. What do they want from it? This is not what do you want, it's what do they want from it. The more people you help, the more successful you'll be. Some people say no, but to me, no, if it's a certain no, you know it is. And you won't be going back to them probably. If it's a not now or hesitation, we absolutely go back to those people over the next months and years, in fact. So another thing we can do is when we're working with people that say no or not now, we can put them in another file, January to December, and then we can revisit them when we think is the best time. One of the key things in this business is to know your numbers. As you move forward in the business and it grows and develops, it's really important to take a look at how many people you've spoken to, how many people you get information to, how many are warm market, how many are cold market. Cold market's not really cold because you're going to be talking to people and starting to create a relationship with them. That's what this business is about, talking to people you know and people you don't know. The numbers, as you look at them, it's about how many have you spoken to that took information. And we're going to talk about a system where that shows it. So if you're building a business that is big and has an everlasting future, doing your number one job, I believe, is prospecting regularly, each week, each month. Then you need a system, if you're doing that, that supports your business and forms a bridge to your goals. We need that system that's simple, duplicatable, and coachable. A system that identifies all stages of the cycle, and a system that will ultimately display your strengths and weaknesses. You know, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. You can't do everything, But the beauty of this business is if you keep stats on it, you will see where it is you need help. And there is always somebody in this business to help you. But as you build a team, you can also see where their strengths and weaknesses are, and you can put the attention where it needs to be. I was at one of the trainings many years ago, and the trainings that are put on are done by people that are doing the business. They're there to show you, to help you. I've never seen so much help in my first few years, the help that you got. It is so unlike the kind of business that I came from, where you had to be the one that did it. Here, there are people always willing to help you. And I was at an event where Diana Page, one of the top trainers and people in the business was, and she said something that resonates with me always: inspect what you expect. You've got to look at it, what you've done, and see if you deserve to be where you want to be. So we have the activity tracker, and as you can see, somebody's already been mentioned. So we put people in the top of that cycle. We take them round, we give them some information. So if we look at Helen Majors there, she was one market. We have a phone number. We did a one-to-one, so you can do a one-to-one, or you can do it online. You can do it personally when you're able to. We're taking them through to the next level, which is what we call that business presentation in the third sector. And then people may say yes or no. We put people in the top of that sector and they come out of the bottom. Your future income and your future fulfillment of your dreams is reliant on this precious activity tracker. Because we don't want one name on it, we want 12 names. And then the next page, another 12 names. So you fill in that pipeline and people drop through, as you can see. How many people have taken information we need to know over a period of time? How many people have taken information each week, each month, each year? If you keep stats, you can look at them and you can see where it is you're thriving and where you might need help. But you can also do this when you start to create a team. That tracker shows immediately how many people you've shown the one-to-one to, or a Your Future video. It will then show you who's looked at a business presentation and who has registered as a Forever Business Owner, an FBO. So what it really means is how effective you are in each discipline of success, and then help your team to understand where they are. So putting an activity tracking system together. Well, at a planning meeting, I've got mine here by the side of me. When I'm running my business, anything to do with my business, it's at the side of me. Everybody I'm talking to, gathering information about and moving on and showing the business to is in this. It's absolutely incredible. As I said, if you've got people who say no, you also have one other file, which is the January to December file. And then you don't have to worry about them. You know exactly where they are. If you spoke to them in January and then they said, give me a call in a couple of months, you know exactly where to put them in your file. But putting this system together is what we're going to talk about now. So at a planning meeting, when I'm working with somebody, this activity tracker is always by my side, because it enables me to show them what to do. Shows them what I do, what results I get, and what success you can have. And they can decide to do the same, more or less, but at least they can see. This is a copycat business, guys. This is not a find out for yourself and see how you get on business. It is really important that you hold people's hand. In fact, the way I look at it, or Chris and I look at it, is when I realize when you learn to drive a car, you have 3-4 lessons. Well, the driving instructor suddenly just doesn't give you a set of keys and say, get on with it. This is about showing people how to get through the stages until they get to manager level. It's a great journey. You know, and if we can do it together business, it's a let's have fun business. When I was told it's a let's have fun business, you know, The industry I was in was great, but fun. It wasn't on the curriculum as far as we were concerned. Maybe a bit of a party when we'd had a really good result from our business. But here, if you're not having fun, you're not doing things. And it's about achieving those goals. So here's me having a happy day at home, talking to people. And you can see the file there, the activity tracker. Boy, does that activity tracker want filling. It wants names on, moving them through. And also you can see me doing a profile for somebody there. I make mine really colourful. It really means a lot to me when I'm filling in a profile. It means another person's interested, started to move them along. We've got a relationship growing. Your business success and longevity lies in the file, guys, and it's totally duplicatable. A great saying that really has given me so much in the past, love Zig Ziglar, and it's you must manage yourself before you can lead somebody else. It's really important that you can show people what you do, how simple it is, how duplicatable, and what they can get from it. Not what you want from it for them, but what they can get from it. Now, this is something that I don't know is so amazing. It's the who do you know list. This is how we start. When somebody starts to look at this business, we ask them, and has decided to become an FBO, the very first thing we're going to do is, yes, find out what their goals and dreams are, but ask them to create a who do you know list. See, the who do you know list is totally unique to everybody who produces it. And this can be done, you're going to fill your activity tracker in, but then you can look every month, every 3 months, 6 months, and you can produce a who do you know list that will really show you how many people you've spoken to and some of the results you've got. It's a numbers game, guys. You don't know when the next yes is going to come, but if you keep trying, you're going to find it. So it's who you have become friends with list. It's not necessarily people you know very well. It's who have you ever known in your entire life? Who does your partner know? Who do your family, your daughters know? See, when you start planning a new FBO, if you show them your who do you know list, they'll understand. They'll be prepared to do it. Let them see that we all got yeses and nos. The blues on there all said no or not now, and the yellows said yes and became FBOs. There's about 60, 70 people on each of those. As you can see, 2 people out of 60 there. And what is it? About 9 or 10 on the other 2. It's incredible. But look at what you have to go back to, the database that you have when you can go back as often as you want. You see, if you can show that to people when they're starting, that you get lots of no's, yeses and not no's, when they're first or 1 or 2 prospects that they were absolutely determined would register don't, just show them yours. And you can explain about it being a numbers business. It's your role to show people and invite them to see the opportunity, but it is very clearly their decision to say yes or no. Who do you know list allows you to build that database that you can continually go back to month after month, year after year. I call my who do you know list my rainy day calls day, when I don't want to be out. I know we're not out and about as much these days, but it's when I want to stay in and be comfy. I call them snow days, rainy days, a little bit antisocial days, where I can just look at them and start to move them forward. You see, if I do it and I can show people in the team, guess what? They think they can do it. So in Forever, I believe success is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of design and intention. Wow, the profile sheets. As you can see, we've got one on Joanne there, and that's the bare limit you would be putting on. When we talk to people, Well, if you look at the file, I've got some empty ones. And you know what? Those empty ones are desperate to be filled with a person. And what we're trying to do is yes, get some basic information about them, the telephone number, where do they live, their location, are they married, single, their age, have they got a family? What are the things? You can see it says there, if you fill and put a tick, are they a business owner? Are they local? What is it about them? We're looking to create a picture about them. So we're looking for their skills, their personality, their circumstances as we start to move them through the business. Their backgrounds, their capabilities, needs, desires, and location. We need to get into them and offer them. What I always think about it is it's like a mini autobiography for everybody that I talk to, so we can build a relationship. Don't forget, if you go back in months to come, you have all the information there. The ones that are filled in then go into what I call a 1 to 31 in this file. There are 31 days in each month. I used to, when I started the business, had all bits of stickies on my desk with lots of different people on. It's a nightmare. But everything is in this file now, 1 to 31. So this week I've spoken to people that I've re-established with after a time, and I've put them into the 6th, which is Monday. There are 13 of them that I go back to. Everything about them and the journey we've been on is there on that autobiography, that profile sheet, and we can pick up where we left off on Monday. The thing about that situation, if you have a profile, your brain and your mind can relax, safe in the knowledge that you will know when to follow up and steer them forward on their journey so that the next level can be met and you can build that relationship together. You know, I registered somebody a few years ago that had been on my list for 10 years, but I went back to their profile and we absolutely picked up. Ultimately, when you meet them in person or online, you can show them the impression they've made on you. You can show them their profile, what you've done about them. You can read it back to them and recognize them. It shows your professionalism if they see that you have taken the time. So if you look at this one here, it's an amazing lady, spoken to quite a while ago, but I will be speaking to her again on the 6th. Yes, a family person with 2 children, very much into health and wellness, into therapy and massage, but she's also been a sales manager and a support coordinator. That means a communicator and somebody that likes to help others. What I've written about her is wonderful lady, great rapport, character, likable, fits well with our business, I believe, and talks with energy and a can-do attitude. She's a people person. This is what I got from it. Skills I've put, people person, communicator. One of my favorite things is a can-do attitude and motivated. She took a 14-minute piece of information, that 1-to-1 in the first column, and we started and we showed her a business presentation. But then COVID hit us. It wasn't the right time, but we agreed that we would talk next week. But I can pick it up. I can ask her questions about herself because I remember it's not forgotten in the months that have passed. So show your professionalism and your interest in them and excite them about working together. It's so powerful to create a profile, so unlike traditional business, because I believe you care and you share. It creates at a glance our prospect's journey with forever. And there's the activity tracker. It shows you how many each week you've engaged with on your journey. So we can put 12 on the activity tracker. We can see where they all got to. If you look at this exercise, the 12 people here, they were all warm, different phone numbers. All of them took that initial, in that second part of the cycle, took that information. 3 of them had a business presentation, and one of them is an FBO, a forever business owner. So that was 1 in 12. So instantly, you can look at your trackers one after another and see where you're performing and what is happening. Shows you how many each week you engage with on your journey. It illustrates your strengths and your weaknesses. And as I said, it's not a problem to have a weakness. If you can work at them and somebody who's helping you can show you, we all have strengths and weaknesses. It's about using our strengths and working on our weaknesses. And this is such an amazing way of illustrating it. The other key thing to an activity tracker, I believe, it eliminates the I've spoken to lots of people and nobody's joined my business syndrome. So just say, let's look at your activity trackers then. Let's see how many you've done this week, this month, this year. And straight away, the evidence is there. You see, a pipeline does not get confused. It's accurate if you update it on a regular basis, and it excitingly tells you how many you've made a connection with. It shows you exactly how many are through the system, and it helps you identify your stats. I can honestly tell you that they change year to year, I'll be absolutely honest, but people I know, warm market, obviously they were mostly done in the first few years of being in the business. But if I go back to one, I would say 1 in 4 of people that I know will join my business. If I look at the who don't know the coal market but get to know, I would say my stats are 1 in 12, 1 in 10 to 1 in 12. It does vary a little bit month on month, month out. I'll ask you a question. Do you know your stats? Do you know how many people you have to get information to? Quite simply, some of those will be great business builders, but if they don't want to do the business, maybe they'd like to use the products. And that's another sector in the file where you would be building 10, 20, 30 regular customers. People who say no to the business, probably because you've created that relationship, will want to use the products. One of the key factors about this business is we all have 24 hours, and time is our most valuable asset. And we can tend to waste it, or we can spend it rather than invest it. And I heard at one of the trainings something that resonates with me all the time, and I use it on a regular basis when I'm doing this business. And that's don't spend £100 worth of time on a £10 decision. Sometimes we just get so embroiled in it. We're spending time on something and it isn't moving. It's never going to. And you've got to start to look at that in the time that you have, that you devote to Forever and your business. So don't spend £100 worth of time on a £10 decision. We need to prioritize our time. What am I willing to give up? Who can help me? I hope you've got through what I'm saying, that help is there if you need it. And a lot of people think, I should be getting on with it. I should be doing it. I should know it. It's about helping each other. This is a business where we do help each other. Everybody's got an expertise somewhere. They're going to help you. You're going to help them. You can get help. And it's crazy just to sit there when you need help. And how can I work smarter? You see, time is infinitely more precious than money. And you can't accumulate time, and you can't borrow time. And you cannot tell how much time you have left in the bank of life, because time is life. So wherever you are, you need to be there and be aware. And it says there, short-term pain for long-term gain. What's a bit of short-term pain? What's a bit of extra work for what you can get from it? And I think it's that saying that really made me understand. I do remember finishing my day's work, having spoken to some people, having a really decent day, some good people I'd spoken to, getting them moving through, talked to some of my customers and arrange what they were looking for next. And I saw that. And that particular day, I finished my work about 7 o'clock. I'd had enough. I turned the lights out in the office. I went downstairs. And as I got downstairs, I thought, what would happen, Alan, if you made one more call? So you know what? I walked back up the stairs, I put the light on, and I made one more call because it could go on my activity tracker. So if you ever think that short-term pain for long-term gain, because those one extra calls on a regular basis to either one of your customers or to somebody in your team or to somebody to look at the business can make a massive difference. So it's about prioritizing that time. We have to be honest, they're immovable tasks. Jobs, school runs, families, responsibilities. You have to accept it, they're there. We're going to get reoccurring tasks like meals, homework. We get business presentations we don't need to be on, we should be on. We've got to learn stuff from them. Homework to help the kids, lots of things. But we also have income producing activities to fulfill. Prospecting activities, coaching activities, training activities, and also retailing. I think when you start this business, if you're really starting with the business and not just retailing, I always say 80% of your time is on prospecting, retailing, and training, and 10% on the retailing, and 20% on the retailing. But when you get your customer base of 10, 20, 30, then you can devote 90% of your time to prospecting, coaching, and training, and 10% to looking after the customers that you've already established. One of the key things there also is self-development that needs to come into those income-producing activities. I love my sayings and it always resonates with me. Don't serve time, make time serve you. And that's where the element of making the extra call is and doing things like that. Just think, what would I do if I did another 5-minute call? The other thing that I've got that is my really amazing partner, as well as my wife and as well as my file, is my diary. You may have an online diary, you may have a diary like I have, but one of the key things is to colour it, to make it obvious where your days are going to be spent. As you can see, there's a block there for day job, family time, and then the purple are when you're going to get involved with the business and do things to move your business forward. Mine is simpler. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's absolutely fantastic. But I have one colour in my diary. I don't suppose you can see it. I have one colour in my diary, and that is for my business. And I have one other colour, it's my life. It's where I fit everything else in, my family and anything else around it. And another thing I do is when I'm with somebody and we're developing them and moving them forward, I show them the diary, because they can see the time, if you allocate the time, exactly where it goes. But don't be afraid if one day you can't do exactly everything you planned in the business. Just make sure it fits in to another day somewhere along the line. So don't mistake movement. Oh, my favorite guy. Bless that he's not with us anymore, but when I first started this business, Jim Rohn was absolutely and totally amazing man for me. And something I learned was don't mistake movement for achievement. It's easy to get faked out about being busy. The question is, guys, busy what? And if you stick to that activity tracking and look at it on a regular basis, it's going to help you so much. I also went to a training in my very first month. I was sent to it by Chris, my wife, and Jane Leach. And I didn't want to go. I wanted to get on with my business. I was excited. I knew what to do. I'd watch Chris, but they insisted I went along to a training. And in the morning I went, it was a 2-day training. I wasn't happy. I didn't enjoy it. At lunchtime, I wanted to go home. I rang up Chris and I said, I'm coming home. It's ridiculous. I just want to get on with it. And she said, you're staying, Alan. Stay for the day. I stayed for the day and I learned something that has completely and utterly changed my life. It was a story I heard by Jan Rue. And it was about how she was the top in her profession for the company she was working with. But on the day of celebration, when it was her time to be on stage, things happened in the auditorium and everybody had to exit. And she didn't get what she thought she was going to get. But Jim Rohn spoke to her and he said, be so busy giving recognition, you don't need it for yourself. And that has changed my life. This is about helping other people, having a system you can show them that is simple, straightforward, duplicatable. You can do it in the 160 countries that are around that we represent. Be so busy giving recognition, you don't need it for yourself, and you can help others get exactly what they want. And I also learned one day, we were getting our first chairman's bonus check. We were very excited, but I'd worked really hard with a young lady. She was a young lady with 2 kids and a husband working very much like me, away a lot. And it was tough. And together, we worked together and she became a manager. And on the day we went up on stage, she was also going up to be presented as manager. And you know what, guys? I was more excited about that than I was about us getting a chairman's bonus. And that's when I realized I really understood what this business was about. I thank you for your time. I hope you've got a lot from it. If you've got any questions or any questions that have come through, we'll have a look at them and we'll see if we can answer some of those questions. Bye for now, guys. Oh. If you want to put your Houdini analysis on a computer, you can, but can you see the effect that it has on people when you can actually show them there? So that's the reason I do it. But yeah, a lot of our business we have on computers, but it's really essential that you could, for me, just to show them face to face is absolutely incredible. A profiling sheet for each person. Yeah, absolutely. You have a profiling sheet for absolutely everybody you speak to. And then if at the end of the session where you've taken them around the cycle, they're not ready to get involved, we put them into January, December, and we pick it up again and we continue it. So which videos are we currently showing to? So we're showing the Your Future, yeah. Where did I get the diary? I don't know. It's just a Christmas present. I've had it forever. It's Filofax, but it's falling to pieces. But I love it. I can't let it go. It's a Filofax. How do I keep track of my customers? Exactly in the same way. I have a 1 to 31 file. What I have really done though is over the years, I've got most of my customers now, so that I talk to them 2 or 3 days before the end of the month, so that I can order products at the beginning of the month and get those products out to them then. But essentially, they go in and I put them in another file, 1 to 31, and they know exactly when they got product, when I'm going to ring them back to follow up. But most of our customers now, I've got them on a monthly basis. Some are 2 monthly because they buy more. One of the key things about it also is how many people those customers have led us to, either to use the product or to do the business. That's been very interesting. Some of the customers don't want to do the business themselves, but they want to offer the opportunity to like family. And that's been very interesting. How do you track those? How do you track those who insist they contact you instead of you? Don't really understand that.
Forever knowledge.
Oh yeah, how you can access the trainings on Forever Knowledge. All the sheets for the profiles, activity tracking, they're all from the company as well. You just order those. Can't see that. I answered that one. There's a few asking the same. Guys, for your GDPR regulations, you need to go back to your upline manager and discuss them there. I think that's the best idea. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and see you around soon. I hope we can actually get back together again at one of the success days. But it's an amazing time for the company at the moment, going through tremendous growth. So start talking to people and get that activity tracker filled. Bye, guys.